Allan Aguirre with your Incorruptible 2-minute warning. I believe, let me see here. Good afternoon. I believe it's Wednesday, right? Yeah. Oh, we're going to finish this. We're going to finish this chapter right now, chapter 6. So let's do this. Let's go into Friday mode. And why? Well, 'cause I'm not actually going to be here tomorrow. As you could tell, you didn't get a notification that that we were going to do this tomorrow because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to be doing something with my grandson, Ariel Fievel. We're going to have a good time, and so that means I won't be here. So, um, so since we're going to be at the end of a chapter right now, let's finish that chapter. I won't be here tomorrow. What's going on with my hair? I won't be here tomorrow, and then I'm going to take Friday off, and then we will start next week with chapter 7. How's that sound? Sound like a good idea? Okay, let's do that. Oh, before I do anything else, nobody really knows this. I mean, I haven't. This is my first time sharing it. I'm going to share it with all you all. I have a Substack. I just created a Substack, and I'm posting a new thing. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to post a new thing. I've only done 2 posts. It'll be subscription based, but not yet. It's just another form of supporting, funding the ministry, my life, things like that. Anyway, but if you're already involved with Patreon, you'll be involved. We'll roll you in, no problem. But check this out. Yeah, that's where you go. And there's free content to begin with because I just started it, so I don't. It's just another outlet because there's just a whole bunch of stuff in here, and anyway. So okay, chapter 6. We're starting with verse 15. Conversations are happening on my. I love the Apple ecosystem. I know a lot of people don't. I love it. How it ties in your computers with your phones, with your iPads. The MacBook Pro is so superior to any PC-based laptop. I wish it had a touchscreen, but then that would get in the way of the iPad market, which is probably why they keep the 2 separate. But anyway, I need to stop thinking. All right, the temple of the living God, verse 14. Everyone needs to stop talking. Not you guys, but these people. Everyone be quiet. Okay. Verse 14, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Remember we started off with that? That could, see, it's like, I don't know what it is. Everything's fine, and then we have, it's an actual thing. We've talked about it before. Lights, camera action, and little nose gremlins. And I'm not the only one that does that. I watch people. There's certain people I watch, and they're always fidgeting with their nose. It's like a thing. I think the brightness of the light triggers, Anyway, I don't know. Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Your cross-reference is Deuteronomy 7:3, Joshua 23:12. We don't see a lot of Joshua in cross-references. Ezra 9:2, Nehemiah 13:25. For what? Now, Christianity has muddled this, like everything else. They've muddled this up. Yoked. Don't be unequally yoked. Yoked means you are together, man. It's you and the cow or the steer next to you. And there's this yoke that, it controls the both of you. So what is this yoke? This is the thing that we're talking about. Well, marriage. Marriage would be I'm not saying marriage is a yoke. But what's being described here is something that connects you with somebody else that you're not independent from. You're not independent of. You are yoked. You are together. Do not be unequally yoked, right, with an unbeliever. There's a whole bunch of reasons for that. I mean, and especially when it comes to issues of the heart, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to especially marriage. I mean, why, if you identify as a believer, why would you date? I mean, first of all, why would you date? Dating is what's the real word for dating would be. Well, geez, my mind just went blank. Courting. Why are you courting that individual? For marriage. So why would you involve or invest that type of emotion, time, money, resource, whatever, with an unbeliever? It's just not wise. It makes literally no sense at all. Hosea, he was told to do that. It doesn't make any sense. And apparently didn't make sense to Paul either. For what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness? Business. You know, people, I don't know, maybe it's been brought up, but I don't remember. But I had a band called Scattered Few. Pretty important, whatever. It was made up of non-believers. I had non-believers in that band. Why would you do that, Alan? You just said not to do that. Well, here's the reason why I did it. I did that because in order for me to do what I needed to do, in order for me to do what I needed to do or wanted to do musically, I had to get these non-believing musicians. Because the Christian musicians that existed in 1983, not only did they not have the skill set or the ability, they didn't have the musical reference that I needed. Those human beings did not exist back then. They did not exist. They didn't exist in 1989 either. They didn't exist. I needed a certain pedigree. I needed a certain caliber, skill set, and reference to accomplish what I needed to accomplish. And that didn't exist in Christianity until, well, just recently. It's kind of scary and weird, but it's the truth. What accord has Christ with Belial or Baal? What accord has Messiah with a demonic entity? Or what portion does the believer share with an unbeliever? What agreement has the temple of God with idols? For we are the temple of the living God, as God said. I will make my dwelling among them. That's cited from Leviticus 26:12. You can also see Exodus 29:45. I will make my dwelling among them and walk among them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Cross references: Leviticus 26:12, Exodus 6:7, something that we talk a lot about around here. Jeremiah 31:33 and verse 32, as well as verse 38. That should be the one about the new covenant. Let me see here. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to do that. Nope, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to do that. And 38. Oh, yeah, and 38. And then we've got Ezekiel. Why am I having a hard time finding things? Here we go. And then we have Ezekiel 11, verse 20, as well as chapter 37, verse 27. I like a lot of these cross references. It gives you, some of them are actual citations that Paul is literally citing, and then that's when we use the word citing. Other than that, these are English Standard Version cross references, which I think is a good thing. It helps. Thompson chain reference, anybody? Bueller, Thompson chain reference. Therefore go out from their midst and be separate from them, says the Lord, and touch no unclean thing, then I will welcome you. I have no problem with any of that. Again, I did what I needed to do. I wasn't in disobedience for doing that. I was in disobedience just for doing it, not because I had non-believers in it, and that's another story. Here, check this out. Did you notice that Paul is quoting and citing once again the law and the prophets to support, not only to support, but to make his position? Therefore go out from their midst and be separate from them, says the Lord, and touch no unclean thing. Then I will welcome you. That's cited from Isaiah 52:11. You can cross-reference Ezekiel 20:34 and verse 41, Zephaniah 3:20, and Revelation 18:4. Verse 18, and I will be a father to you, and you shall be sons and daughters to me, says the Lord Almighty. All right, so this is like a big stinking quote here. starting with verse 16. I will make my dwelling among them and walk among them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Therefore go out from their midst and be separate from them, says the Lord, and touch no unclean thing. Then I will welcome you, and I will be a father to you, and you shall be sons and daughters to me, says the Lord Almighty. Man, he's just going to town with the scriptures in this letter to Corinthians. And in this letter to Corinth, predominantly Gentile church. Again, cross-reference Exodus 4:22, 2 Samuel 7:8 and 14, Isaiah 43:6, Jeremiah 31:9, 52:11, Ezekiel 20:34 and 41, Hosea 1:10 and Revelation 21:7. That concludes chapter. What chapter are we in? 6, right? Nope. Yeah, that concludes chapter 6. Man, oh man. What do you guys think about that? Pretty interesting, right? Pretty cool stuff. I'd have to remember, what does chapter 7 even deal with? Do you want to take a quick little peek and see what it says? Or what we might find in there? Why not, right? Where's my Bible? Oh, phone right here. Let's see. What kind of subjects is 2 Corinthians chapter 7 dealing with? Okay, let me see here. It's another short chapter. Well, verse 1 kind of continues on from here. Since we have these promises, beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from every defilement of body and spirit, bringing holiness to completion in the fear of God. Yeah, that definitely needs to be there. So to conclude what we just read, he's telling us not to be yoked unevenly with unbelievers, with that kind of thing, with Baal, with uncleanliness, with not to do that. Since we have these promises, what promises? Everything we just read for the last couple of verses, how God's going to do what he's going to do. Let us cleanse ourselves from every defilement of body or flesh and spirit, bringing holiness to completion in the fear of God. Paul is suggesting something Christianity just doesn't ever want to talk about, and that's you need to be holy. How do you be? And what does that mean? What's the definition of that? What does that look like? What does our day-to-day look like as holy people versus unholy people? Christianity doesn't teach that, does it? I mean, think about it. Does it? While you think about it. I don't think they do. Not in my experience, and I've been doing this for a very, very long time in church, which would then again explain why it doesn't work and why the people involved are just so not happening. So anyway, what else? What else are we doing? So I won't be here tomorrow, and then I'm going to take advantage of that by not being here Friday. What do you guys think about that? Is that cool? That's so cool. All right then. Nice chatting with you. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
The views and opinions expressed during our broadcasts are solely those of the broadcast producers, hosts, and/or guests, etc., and are not necessarily the views or opinions of the Travelogue Network, its sponsors, or affiliates.